I'm not disagreeing.
Okay. Next caller, we're gonna have Snowboard Joe. Welcome to the show.
Hey,
Hey,
snowboard.
what's up, dog?
What's
Hey,
up,
what's up,
man?
guys? Thanks for the opportunity to speak on here. I want to offer like an adjacent point and say that the reason why it's hard for Christian women to obey is because it's really that materialism is their god, and they just don't quite understand it. That's why they get the consumerism, the vapidness. They always want to consume, and that materialism is they want the materialism to then gain the status. That's half the reason why people have a cool car, because that materialism has a status attached to it. So if I have a Ford Ranger pickup truck or a Bugatti car, that has a status attached to it from the materialism about it. So that's kind of secretly their god, that they don't fully understand it all the way. That is like the major DNA problem of it. That's why they want the churches with the prosperity gospel. That's half of it. They want a boat. They want all the prosperity and hard work. And the materialism is tied to their security, which is, that's not too unrealistic to think that. But materialism is really kind of their god. And that's why they're meant to like consume all the time. If like women love consuming, shopping, like look what they do with their money. They're going to buy bags, items, maybe a nice car, like basically vapid bullshit, so they can keep consuming, because that materialism and that consumption is what gives them those dopamine hits. They feel when they're consuming like a man feels like when he produces something a little bit. It's kind of like the opposite way. I think that is kind of like their god in a sense, and algorithms. An algorithm is really their god, because that's what gets them their social status. That's what gives them their dopamine hits. That's what gives them their sense of purpose and their validation. You know what I mean? Like, I think that is their real god. It's not Jesus or what we're calling God.
It's Amazon, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's but I think that's really what the problem is. I don't think that they fully understand that themselves. And I think for a lot of people, that actually is their God in a sense. They just don't fully understand it. I mean, even some men, they want the materialism, so they have that material status to impress women. That it's to impress men too, and to get security and all that. But a lot of it is really for that, and that's what women really kind of worship without realizing it. And that's also tied to their sense of security. If I have more resources and more materialistic wealth, so to speak, then I can hold down the fort more. Basically, I have more tools. I have a bigger castle and whatnot. So I think a lot of it is just really linked to materialism being their god. But they don't know that. They don't think this way. They're not going to get philosophical and think about it. That's kind of beyond them. And
I think you're close. I don't think it's materialism. I think it's what the Bible calls sensuality. They are serving their own senses. They're pursuing what makes them feel good.
Yeah, vapid behavior. Yeah. I'm just kind of coining the phrase like materialism is their god because it's, I don't know, it kind of sounds better, but it's not quite materialism itself, but it's pretty close.
Vapid behavior. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah. Vapid behavior, serving yourself all the time. Just like women are consumers, and they're vapid consumers. They're consuming things that don't really last.
It says
it's throwaway stuff.
So more vapid is an adjective used to describe something that is dull, uninspiring, or completely lacking in spirit, life, or flavor. It typically refers to lifeless conversations, mediocre art, or tedious situations that lack substance or excitement, aka modern women.
Modern woman's mindset. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. They put so much of their life into getting one of these Birkin bags, and they get it, and they just want another one after that. It didn't really. And why is a Birkin bag worth anything? Because of the material status that we give it. It's the same as any other bag, pretty much. It's not like these women are like, oh my God, the craftsmanship of the kids who made this one is better than the kids who made the other one that I bought from the other country. They don't care. They only care about what the outside validation tells it to them, which is the status, the material status, pretty much. I think that is like the main problem, really. And so basically I'm saying they're godless too, because materialism is their god.
If you think about it, they are looking for validation outside of themselves, not realizing validation, true validation, comes from within.
Yeah. They don't have gnosis, they have hosis. So
I gotta look those up.
Gnosis is like a Greek word, sort of a religious word for like inner knowledge of, kind of like Gnosticism, I guess. So it's a Greek word for like knowledge about God and whatnot, basically. So you were saying to find a girl that you should change, adapt to what they need, what their psychology is and stuff. I would kind of agree with that. Like, you don't really have another choice. You kind of have to play their game a bit.
I wasn't saying you adapt to them. I'm saying you learn to understand their psychology so you can call her out, hold her accountable. You don't adapt to them. You hold her accountable to adapt to you, because you're the architect of your life. You're supposed to be the protector, the provider, the priest, the prophet, the pastor of your own house. You are the head. She gets on board with your plan. You don't get on board with hers. She can present her ideas to you and you can evaluate them on their merit. You
So
don't
I'm the
adapt
head
to her.
and she gives me head.
Yes.
All right, thanks for calling in, Joe. Appreciate
Thanks, guys.
it. Hey, Joe.